Shocking truth, Grandma's secret revealed on her birthday. Why I got a 35 sandal instead. The day started like any other, but by noon, it would spiral into a chaos of shocking revelations. Grandma's birthday had always been celebrated with much fanfare. It was the kind of day that echoed with laughter, balloons, and the scent of chocolate cake creeping through our tiny house. But this year felt different. As I sat on the scratchy sofa, the world outside seemed to shift. Clouds hung low, thick with an ominous gray that made my heart race. Today, I felt it in my bones. Something eerie loomed ahead. When Grandma entered the room, there was an unsettling silence. The air, thick with excited murmurs, quickly drained away as her frail figure stepped forward, a dark blue velvet dress draping across her bony shoulders. Her eyes, usually twinkling with joy, held a gambling glint that made my pulse quicken. She carried an unwrapped gift in her hands, but it wasn't the expected fancy purse or a delicate charm bracelet that caught our attention. No, as she revealed what lay hidden beneath the glittery paper, everyone gasped in disbelief. It was a plain old 35 sandal. It seemed absurd. The room erupted with confusion. That very sandal seemed like a ticking time bomb, ready to explode in our midst. What on earth was she thinking? Whispers filled the space. Is she losing it? Does she have a secret stash we don't know about? My fingers itched with curiosity. Grandma had been acting strange for weeks, talking about things we couldn't quite grasp. Little pieces of her past began surfacing during our conversations. Those fleeting memories dropped casually, as if they didn't carry their weight. I could feel an icy grip tighten around my chest. What was going on beneath that delicate exterior? As the tension peaked, Grandma turned, her voice cracking like thunder. I've kept a secret and it's time everyone learns the truth. Just as she opened her mouth, the house shook with a sudden thud as if it was echoing her words. I could barely breathe. The balcony door swung wide, letting in a gust of wind that swept through the room. Chairs creaked, and a chilling cold swept across the gathering, leaving us all frozen in anticipation. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The moment hung in the air, thick and heavy. Was Grandma really about to unveil something dangerous? Our eyes were glued to her, hearts racing. Suddenly, her frail hands trembled as she reached for the sandal like it was a precious artifact. This isn't just a sandal, she declared. It's a key. The room held its breath. A key to what? Who would have thought a simple gift would lead to such frenzy? Was it a last attempt to connect with us or a desperate plea to dive deep into her hidden past? A million questions raced through my mind. Grandma, her mysterious life, this bizarre sandal, each twist amplifying the suspense. What awaited us in the depths of her secret? Little did I know, this birthday celebration would unravel into a thrilling quest for answers. I leaned in, eager. What secrets lay behind that simple 35 shoe? The room fell into an eerie silence, the only sound the crackle of the wind intruding through the open balcony door. Everyone's gaze remained fixed on Grandma, who held the sandal like it was something far more significant than a mere shoe. Confusion twisted in the air, thick enough to cut. What do you mean, it's a key? My brother dared to break the silence, his voice barely above a whisper. Eyes darted around the room as if seeking answers from the walls, the ceiling, anything but each other. Grandma finally lifted her head, her gaze piercing through the uncertain faces of her family. Years ago, when your parents were younger, a secret was forged. One your mother has carried for far too long. Her voice wavered, yet there was an assertiveness that commanded even the fluttering curtains to listen. That a knot twisted in my stomach. Mom? What did Grandma know that could shake the foundations of our family? I leaned in closer, holding my breath. The wind drifted into the room, carrying an unnatural chill that felt like a warning. It all started with me, a simple girl in an extraordinary world. This sandal is not what it seems. It connects us to a hidden treasure. A ripple of shock coursed through the group. The children exchanged confused glances while the adults shifted uncomfortably, processing her cryptic words. I couldn't help but feel a surge of desire to uncover this treasure. What was it that Grandma had kept locked away? Treasure? My cousin laughed nervously, like a pirate's stash. More like a secret legacy, Grandma replied, her trembling hands brushing against the smooth surface of the sandal. One that can change everything we know about our family. Her eyes welled with memory, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like the woman I once knew, full of warmth and laughter, was slipping away into someone shadowed by burdens unspoken. I was young, naive. I made choices, mistakes. She dropped her gaze, fixing it on the sandal. But I hid something precious. Something that must be unearthed. The room shifted uneasily, a buzzing uncertainty fueling the thick atmosphere. Someone spoke up. My aunt, her voice strained. What were you hiding, Mom? And why has it taken you so long to tell us? I wanted to protect you. Grandma's voice trailed off, lost in the sea of confusion. But secrets fester, and on this birthday, everything must come to light. I was never just your grandmother. I had a life you know nothing about. A breathless tension hung heavy in the air, and with every second that passed, it pulled tighter. Grandma, I said, desperate to keep her engaged, tell us about this treasure. We're all here. You're safe. She met my eyes. The storm raging outside matched the tempest brewing within me. Every heartbeat echoed my yearning for the truth. In that box, Grandma pointed towards an old, ornate chest hidden in the corner of the room, rests the true key to our inheritance. You will find what was lost, and what has been buried. But beware, the path to discovery is fraught with danger. Danger? The word echoed ominously in my mind. Everyone's eyes lit with both curiosity and fear. We were on the precipice of something transformative, yet frightening beyond measure. What if we're not prepared for what's inside? I whispered, my heart pounding against my ribcage. Grandma smiled furtively. Some truths are better revealed than withheld. It's time you understand how deep roots can grow. And as she spoke, the floorboards groaned ominously beneath us, sending a shiver of foreboding down my spine. A storm was brewing outside, and it felt eerily matched to the tempest within the house. As murmurs of doubt and excitement swirled around me, I felt my heart quicken. What awaited us in that chest? Was it truly worth the danger? But before I could voice my question, a loud crash erupted from the other room, shattering the tension and filling me with dread. It felt as if the house itself was screaming, and just like that, every fear I'd pushed aside rushed back to the forefront of my mind. Suddenly, I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever lay ahead would test every bond, every hidden secret, and every ounce of courage we had. What was that? I shuddered, instinctually stepping back from the door. The tension broke like a wave, and as we exchanged terrified glances, the reality of Grandma's secret pressed heavier than ever. What had we unwittingly unleashed? And as the storm continued outside, I knew our answers awaited just beyond that chest, but so did something much darker. Grandma's eyes locked onto mine, her urgency palpable. Stay close, she implored, her voice a low whisper. The weight of the moment pressed down on us like the thickening storm outside. Before we could process her words, the door swung open with a violent creak, revealing nothing but the shadowy hallway beyond. My heart raced. Only darkness greeted us, yet something felt alive in that void. It was as if the hallway pulsed with anticipation, waiting for us to make our move. Let us check it out together, I said, trying to mask the tremor in my voice. The others hesitated, exchanging glances that mirrored my own fear. Fine, said my brother, stepping forward. But if it's just the wind enough? Grandma interjected, her voice cutting through the nervous chatter. We must face this. Now. She placed the sandal on the table and moved toward the hallway, her shoulders squared as if bracing against an unseen force. As we followed her, my stomach twisted, a warning clawing at me from deep inside. The thunder rumbled ominously, rattling the windows. Each step felt heavier, yet curiosity gnawed at my thoughts. What truth could be waiting just beyond the dark? We reached the threshold, the heavy air wrapping around us like a thick fog. The hall was dim, the shadows dancing at the corners of our vision. Grandma paused, inhaling deeply, as though summoning her courage. "What lies at the end is something only we can uncover," she said. Her words sent chills down my spine. I could almost feel our family legacy, a pulsating heart, hidden yet alive. Yet I wanted to turn back, to escape the weight of the unknown. Before I could voice my fears, a loud crash echoed from the direction of the chest. We spun, eyes wide, as the noise reverberated through the air. It was like a life-or-death ultimatum, daring us to confront it. "Did you hear that?" My cousin whispered, gripping my arm tightly, and I nodded, my body tense. Grandma turned to face us, her face a mask of resolve mixed with worry. "It's time. We need to know what we're up against. Let us go," my brother urged, his feet shuffling impatiently toward the chest. With no time left to hesitate, we moved as one, hearts racing, questions swirling in our minds. The chest loomed before us, ancient and intricate, letting off a scent of dust and untold stories. My hands trembled as I reached forward, the weight of the past heavy in the air around us. "Are we really ready for this?" I asked, feeling increasingly uneasy. "We don't have a choice," Grandma said, her voice steady yet filled with an undertone of urgency. She squared her shoulders, and I found comfort in her determination. Just then, another crash echoed from the hallway, louder this time, shaking the very foundation of the house. It was deafening. The wind outside howled as if it were a beast, angry and relentless. "Open it," my brother shouted. The fear in his voice sparked a flame in me, and I knew this was not just about Grandma's secret, it was about us too. With shaking hands, I slowly lifted the lid of the chest. The hinges groaned in protest, as shadows spilled out, intertwining with the light and casting eerie shapes on the floor. Inside, I spotted something glinting, a metallic object half buried under old cloth, shimmering like it was alive. Grandma gasped, a moment of recognition flashing in her eyes. "That," she murmured, a tremor running through her voice, "is the heart of our legacy." I reached deeper, pulling out the shimmering object, my heart racing. What was I about to uncover? But even as excitement surged within me, a rustle from the shadows called back to my instincts, an unseen force hovering behind us. Fear held me in place as I felt a sinister presence lurking, ready to move. Suddenly, the lights flickered, casting us into a chaotic swirl of darkness and light. Grandma's expression twisted, revealing a terror I hadn't seen before. "Whatever you do, don't look back," she warned, but the shadows behind us seemed to grow thicker, the chilling feeling intensifying like a creeping fog. What had we awakened? What other secrets lay entwined in our family history? As the glinting object trembled in my grip, uncertainty loomed just over my shoulder. And just like that, the first act of the drama that would change our lives had begun. The object felt cold in my hand, the metallic surface smooth yet pulsating with a strange energy. I glanced at Grandma, her face pale against the flickering lights, and felt my pulse quicken. "What is it?" I asked, barely able to voice the question. But just then, a deep, ominous growl echoed from the hallway, reverberating in my chest like a warning bell. My brother whipped around, an expression of pure horror crossing his face. "Did you hear that?" Grandma stood frozen for a heartbeat before her instincts kicked in. "We need to leave. Now," she shouted, grabbing my wrist and pulling me towards the staircase, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from the glinting object. What was so important that even the shadows seemed to tremble at its presence? "Wait!" I cried, but before I could make a case, the lights blinked violently, casting us into darkness for a moment. When they blinked back to life, I caught a shadow darting toward us, quick and jagged. "Run!" my cousin screamed, and the world erupted into chaos. We bolted back towards the doorway, only for Grandma to yank us all to a stop just as the wind howled outside, drowning out the roar of our panic. "We can't run from this," she said, breathing heavily. "We need to face it." The door slammed shut behind us of its own will, shaking the walls like a thunderclap. The darkness thickened, folding in on itself as if hungry for our fear. I felt my heart hammering, an instinctual fight-or-flight response clawing at my psyche. Every fiber of my being screamed to escape, yet something stronger, deeper than fear, pushed me to stand my ground. The glimmering object seemed to react to the pressure building in the air, glowing brighter, illuminating the shadows that danced just beyond the edges of our vision. "What does it want?" I murmured, my eyes darting around for any sign that could explain the terror creeping into my heart. Grandma's hands trembled, but her voice was solid as granite. It's been waiting for someone," she said softly, looking directly into my eyes. "To unlock the truth." The moment her words settled within me, the shadows began to converge like a monstrous tide. I gulped, my throat dry. "Unlock what truth?" "It's a family secret," she replied, stepping closer to us, her eyes shining with a mix of resolve and fear. "One that could change everything we know or destroy us." My brother's expression twisted into one of frustration, his fists clenching. "We don't have time for riddles. What do we do?" I looked back at Grandma, desperate for clarity. "We have to let it reveal itself," she whispered. "Trust it." At that, the metallic object sucked away the shadows, the glow expanding until it enveloped us completely. The room transformed around us, filling with whispers that tickled my ears, half-formed echoes that seemed to taunt us, urging us to listen. "Stay focused," I told myself, grabbing my brother's arm. "Whatever's happening, we're in this together." The whispers grew louder, forming coherent words that sent shivers through my spine. "Your bloodline holds the key. Find the truth, or face the darkness." "Find the truth," Grandma muttered, her voice barely audible over the cacophony of sounds. Suddenly, the floor beneath us shook violently, the walls groaning like they were alive. My heart lodged in my throat. "What if we can't find it?" I gasped. "Then it will consume us like it did before," Grandma answered, the fear in her eyes betraying her resolve. A loud crash echoed, and the chest shot back into the shadows. "Time is slipping away," I pressed, panic now so thick it clawed at my breath. "What do we do?" Tension uncoiled around us like a coiled snake, ready to strike. We stood on the precipice of a revelation, but the chaos was multiplying, and an unthinkable feeling gripped me. The heart of our family legacy wasn't just a treasure, it was a curse, and as a sinister wind blew through the room, chilling us to the bone, the truth felt closer yet further away than ever. It was then that I heard it, an unmistakable voice rising above the others, malevolent and eager. "Are you ready to play?" The final words echoed in the hollow darkness, and just like that, we were thrust into a game we never wanted to join. What were we about to unleash? As the shadows loomed ever closer, I could only hope that we were strong enough to unveil the heart of our legacy before it consumed us whole. The air pulsed with an electric energy as the sinister voice lingered in our ears, weaving itself into the very fabric of the room. I held my breath, my heart racing. "What game?" I whispered, looking at Grandma, who suddenly appeared so small and fragile, like a candle flickering in a storm. "Stay strong," Grandma urged, refusing to let fear shatter her composure. But I could see the tremor in her hands, the way her eyes darted back and forth, searching the dark for answers even she didn't have. The room shuddered again, the energy from the metallic object suffusing everything around us. "It's hungry," I thought nervously, the shadows stretching forth like clawed hands aiming to drag us into unknown horrors. "Gather, gather." The voice hissed, echoing sharply. Let the secrets unfold. Before I could react, a bright flash erupted from the object, illuminating the room as a sphere of light enveloped us. I squinted against the brightness. Images flickered within the glow, moments from our family's past that I had never known. Faces twisted in fear, tears of loss, laughter that turned to silence. With each image, time seemed to fold in on itself, and I felt disoriented as if I was standing on shifting sand. "What is happening?" my brother shouted, panic rising in his voice. He tugged on Grandma's arm, desperate for guidance. "We can't just watch this. We need to understand," she retorted sharply, her gaze locked on the object. "Listen." The sphere shimmered, and the whispers transformed into haunting narratives, laced with dread. I heard tales of betrayal, dark rituals performed in desperation, and powerful forces awakened by our lineage. "They're coming," a phantom voice murmured. "You must break the cycle." "Break what cycle?" I cried out, feeling my pulse quicken at the weight of fear pressing down on my chest. "What does that even mean?" Grandma's breath came in quick gasps, her face pale as she turned to me. "When the darkness rises, we must face it. We are the last in line, and if we fail it will consume everything." I finished, my stomach twisting with recognition. The echoes from the past bore the weight of our family's mistakes, and the reality of it chilled me to the bone. Suddenly, a blast of air erupted, extinguishing the glowing sphere. The darkness thickened, heavy and profound. It felt as if the walls were closing in around us, shadows swirling with malicious intent. I staggered back, gripping my brother's arm tightly. "Hold on." Grandma shouted over the approaching cacophony, her fierce determination sparking a flicker of hope within me. "We've faced worse. Remember the stories. The courage we carry might just be enough." In that moment, clarity pierced the darkness. This was about more than just facing fear, it was about understanding who we were, embracing our legacy, and fighting against it. But I still felt lost. What did it mean to break the cycle? As the shadows lunged forward, I sensed an unsettling truth encircling us. What if breaking the cycle meant confronting our deepest fears? In the heart of the maelstrom, I grasped the metallic object once more. Its cold surface felt alive and vibrant. "Maybe we are the key," I thought. Just then, a blinding flash erupted as the shadows lunged at us, mutating into horrific shapes that clawed for our freedom. "There's no going back now. Face them." Grandma shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Embrace the truth within you." And in the eye of the storm, as I stared down the abyss, I realized unraveling our family's secrets could unleash both salvation and destruction. Would we rise to the challenge, or would we fall prey to the darkness? The tension peaked. The choice loomed. And as the shadows closed in, I strained to gather my strength, ready to uncover the mystery hidden within our bloodline. Now the question remained: what truth would we find, and would we be able to manage what came next? The darkness thickened, swirling around us like a living entity, pressing against my skin as if trying to squeeze the breath from my lungs. I glanced at Grandma, her eyes were wide, reflecting the panic and overlaying regret of a lifetime. "We are the key," I murmured, my mind racing. How could we be the key to something so monstrous? Suddenly, the shadows surged forward, twisting into nightmare forms. I could feel a cold chill that crept up my spine. My brother shrank closer to me, his face pale, as I tightened my grip on his arm. "We have to fight," I whispered, a surge of adrenaline ricocheting through me. "Embrace the truth." Grandma's voice cut through the darkness, fierce and unwavering. But something in her tone suggested that the truth might not be the release we hoped for. It could be a weapon that would cut deeper than the shadows themselves. With trembling hands, I held the metallic object tightly. The moment felt eternal, yet chaos danced through the air. I had no idea what to do, but Grandma's stories about our family echoed in my mind, a legacy filled with both valor and folly. "Give me strength," I thought, channeling every ounce of determination I could muster. The shadows recoiled slightly, as if sensing the shift in my energy. "Focus," Grandma urged, her voice a beacon. "Feel our ancestors. They fought so fiercely to protect us." I shut my eyes for a split second, envisioning the faces of my ancestors. Their stories of bravery, their sacrifices, their failures. Each one resonated within me. "We are not defined by our past," I breathed, feeling warmth rise within, pushing against the encroaching shadows. But just as that warmth began to take hold, the shadows lunged again, sharper and angrier than before. They seem to hiss. "You think you can escape the truth?" Their voices merged into a cacophony, provoking memories buried deep. Dread chilled my bones. What if facing them would expose secrets better left hidden? Grandma's hand clasped mine tightly. "Remember my birthday?" The stories unfolded then. "This is it. Our time to reshape the narrative." A memory flooded back, the day she'd shared the family ruins with us, fragments of memories cloaked in dust and fear. The truth is tangled, I stammered, battling uncertainty. What if it's too much? What if before I could finish my thought, the room vibrated violently, the shadows shooting towards us with renewed vengeance? With a wild swing, I suddenly found myself caught in a vision of Grandma, young and hopeful, standing on the precipice of despair. The ground beneath her was crumbling as a portal of darkness loomed. Do you see? It never ended, but you have the power to sever it. Grandma's intensity flooded through me, igniting a spark. I can do this. I shouted defiantly, daring the shadows to come closer. But just then, an image flickered out from the darkness. A figure emerged, a man whose eerie smile rippled through the shadows like oil on water. You think mere words can defeat what you cannot comprehend? Who are you? The voice escaped my lips, a tremor of fear threading through my bravado. He stepped closer, his features sharpening in the dim light. I am what you fear. I am what you cherish. His eyes glinted, malevolent and knowing. The ground trembled beneath us once more, and the pain of past choices reverberated in my heart. The cycle won't end with you, he sneered. You will either join us or perish. Perish? My breath caught. A knot of helplessness formed in my gut. The shadows danced menacingly around this sinister figure, filling the air with dread. As panic clawed at my mind, I felt Grandma's strength behind me, her warmth grounding me amid chaos. Then, I burst out with fervor, we will not yield to you. We choose life. The shadows shrieked, their furious howls resonating within me. As I shouted back, the ground beneath us cracked open, revealing a swirling abyss. It was as if our very legacy was in battle, a tug-of-war between past mistakes and the power of our resolve. I want to let you take us. I screamed into the abyss, daring it to accept my challenge. And just like that, a single shard of light ignited in the darkness. It beckoned, promising answers if only I dared to leap into the void. What awaited within that light? A weapon against the shadows, or deeper truths better left unspoken? Jump! Grandma yelled, her voice ringing with lucid clarity. With the shadows closing in and reality warping around us, the question loomed: could we confront the truth, or would we be silenced forever? The decision tormented me, heat rushing through my veins. The abyss pulsed between us like a heartbeat, the shadows wrapping around my legs, pulling me back, whispering sweet lies of safety. Don't do it, they hissed, their voices smooth yet sinister. You'll lose everything if you jump. Grandma's fierce gaze held me steady. Trust in our bloodline, in the power that courses through you. She stepped forward, and my heart raced. Her presence grew luminous, driving back the encroaching dark. My brother clung to my arm, his fear palpable. I took a faltering step toward the light. What if it's a trap? I shot back, desperate for reassurance. What if it swallows us whole? The words felt slippery, heavy with doubt. That's the very fear we must confront. Grandma shouted, her voice cutting through my uncertainty. Those shadows thrive on your hesitation. You must face the truth. As she spoke, I remembered the stories she had shared of lost ancestors and the darkness that had tormented them for generations. Each tale spun a web, binding us to our past. I was at the center, and I realized I had the power to reshape it. If I didn't act now, the shadows would consume us, sending generations of pain spiraling into eternity. Screw this, I thought, and jumped. Light enveloped me, wrapping around me like a protective cloak. I felt weightless, suspended in time as the shadows screamed in fury outside my bubble of brightness. Maybe Grandma was right. Maybe this was the weapon we needed. Suddenly, images flickered in front of me, flashes of light and dark, memories blending together. I saw Grandma as a little girl, playing in the fields with a boy I recognized. It was him, the man shadowing us, the one with the glinting eyes. But he wasn't as powerful then. He was a boy full of promises and dreams. Confusion filled me, warring with clarity. Why? I gasped amidst the glowing visions. What does this mean? The memories shifted again, revealing that boy growing into the man who now loomed over us in darkness. A sparkle flickered, an inkling of a thought came into view. You were a part of our family once. I shouted, feeling power within my voice. The light pulsed with my anger, igniting even brighter. You betrayed us. You cast us into this darkness. The shifting images froze as a shadowy figure crumbled, revealing the boy from the brighter memories. A sense of horror washed over me. You didn't just choose this, you let the darkness win. Each revelation felt like a searing brand on my soul, pressing deeper with each breath. I combined the warmth of the light with my rage, forming a weapon no shadow could penetrate. Still standing on the edge, I turned back to Grandma and my brother, their faces animated with hope mixed with fear. The swirling void began to close around us, deepening in its malevolent hunger. You think you can reshape it? He countered, his smiles now distant and twisted. You'll only further entangle yourself. No. We will break free. I yelled, my voice ringing with authority. At that moment, the shadows recoiled, almost startled by our defiance. The light surged brighter again, pulling with it whispers of our ancestors, the collective strength of past warriors echoing through me. I envisioned my brother stepping beside me, feeling the weight of the metallic object solid in my grip, its purpose now clear. Just then, I recognized the profound truth lurking beneath the surface. The key isn't just about fighting the shadows. It's about understanding the scars they've left behind. And then the figure laughed, a sound devoid of humor, echoing in the depths of my mind. In understanding comes vulnerability. And with vulnerability, you reveal. Shut up. I interrupted, my strength burgeoning. We won't hide anymore. No more secrets. Grandma. I called out, adrenaline coursing through me. Together. Now. As we readied ourselves, the space warped again. Shadows lunged from all sides, but bolstered by light and fierce unity, we struck back. My heart raced as the light merged with our will, shattering the shadows into fragments of fear. This was our moment. And we seized it, careening toward the truth that awaited us on the other side of battle. But as the last of the darkness receded, a chilling laugh lingered behind. You may have won this battle, but we will meet again, and next time, you will regret it. I felt my blood run cold. Had we truly escaped, or was this just the beginning? What awaited us beyond the horizon of this victory? And why did the echoes of his laugh reverberate like a haunting promise in my mind? The air hummed around us, thick with uncertainty. I stumbled forward, the remnants of the light fading into shadows that curled defiantly at the edges. My heart hammered, a relentless drum, echoing the haunting words that trailed behind us. The chill of his laughter settled deep in my bones, fraying the edges of our small victory. Did we really win? My voice was barely a whisper, a question thrown into the uncertainty that lingered. Grandma stepped forward, her face a mixture of triumph and deep-rooted concern. We faced the darkness, but it's not over. The battle leads us to the truth. My brother glanced between Grandma and me, confusion creasing his brow. Then what's next? What do we do? Remember, she said, her voice steady despite the lingering dread. The shadows thrive on fear. We must not let them find any cracks in our resolve. Fine, let us go. I said, anger bubbling up, unwilling to let fear filter through. I turned on my heel, ready to face whatever lay ahead, my resolve ignited. We'll confront whatever's waiting for us. But the moment I stepped forward, the ground had shifted. Like stepping into a dream that turned nightmarish in an instant, the once familiar landscape reshaped into a murky abyss. It stretched infinitely, with tendrils of shadow creeping toward us, hungry. No! I shouted, panic flooding my senses. I squared my shoulders, determined, but dread clawed at my throat. Grandma held her hand up, tossing a strand of light from her fingertips. It illuminated the path ahead, the shimmering glow leading us deeper into the void. Stay close. She commanded, her voice an anchor against the encroaching darkness. We pressed on, the fear winding tighter around us with every step. But then a flash of movement caught my eye. Shadows morphed into distorted figures, offering glimpses of tormented spirits locked in their eternal struggle against the darkness. Their faces twisted in anguish, and for a fleeting moment, I recognized them. The ancestors. My ancestors. Why are they trapped? I murmured, grasping my brother's arm tight. Grandma braced herself, staring ahead as if unveiling a grim truth. They are lost, bound to their regrets and fears. But we can free them, I can free them, she said, determination fueling her voice. I was chosen to carry the bloodline's light, but it comes with a price. What price? The question slipped out, thick with trepidation, but she didn't answer. Instead, her gaze shifted to the distant flickers of light, each pulling us closer, whispering promises of redemption. Keep moving, she urged. We picked up speed, desperation propelling us forward as the shadows seemed to reach for us, seeking the warmth of our hopes. But just as we neared the source of the light, a jarring sound shattered the atmosphere, a crack like thunder. The ground beneath us heaved and the light dimmed, swallowed by the shadows as a haunting figure emerged from within the void. It was the boy again, now twisted into a ghastly reflection of his former self. You think you can save them? His voice was low, menacing, echoing as if amplified by the shadows around him. You're not strong enough. We'll see what lies beneath your resolve. My stomach dropped as dread washed over me. What do you want? I shouted, eyes locked with his. He smirked, sharp and sinister. I want you to understand that freedom comes with sacrifice, something you have yet to learn. No. I screamed back, defiance roaring within me. We'll break this cycle. We aren't afraid. As the air thickened with tension, I felt Grandma's hand on my shoulder, grounding me. We will face this together. You are never alone. Suddenly, a rush of wind swept through, carrying whispers, words of rebellion from the ancestors, a resounding confirmation of our lineage. And just like that, the air crackled with energy, forming a barrier of light between us and the shadowy figure. But the boy's laughter pierced the atmosphere, resonating with menace. You think this light can fend off the darkness? I'll show you the depths of despair. In that moment, I could feel the weight of the world pressing down, the shadows crawling closer. What he said burned in my mind, the truth he hinted at felt like a waking nightmare. And just before I could question how deep this despair went, the light around us flickered, threatening to go out, struggling against the malevolence surrounding us. Hold on to your light, Grandma cried, her urgency pulling me back from the brink of yielding. I gripped the metallic object tighter, readying for what came next, but as we prepared to charge into battle once more, a chilling thought flashed through my mind. Was the price of freedom worth the heartache it would demand? What lay waiting for us as we pressed forward? And who would have to pay that price? Panic wrapped around us like a tightening noose. As the ground quaked beneath our feet, I felt adrenaline coursing through my veins. The shadows flickered, gnashing their teeth, taunting us as the boy advanced, shrouded in a darkness that almost felt tangible. Enough games, I shouted, trying to reclaim the power in my voice. But doubt crept in, whispering doubts that made my heart race. The flickering barrier that separated us from him sparked and faded with every growl of laughter that rolled from his lips. I could feel it, the darkness was hungry, thirsty for our fear. Watch your heart, Grandma called, her voice edged with urgency. This darkness feeds off your emotions, don't let it in. She was right, fear coiled around my subconscious, ready to spring into my thoughts. I focused on her words, on the warmth of her presence beside me. We had fought so hard and didn't come this far to be buried in despair. The boy lunged, and just like that, shadows wrapped around my brother's ankle. He stumbled, yanking back in surprise, and I felt the panic radiate off him. Help! The word tore from his lips, laced with terror. Stay close, I shouted back, rushing to grab his hand, yanking him up. But as I pulled him away, the shadows extended, morphing into grasping claws. Grandma aimed for the vortex of darkness, her hands igniting with fierce light more vibrant than before. We have to fight back. A sudden surge sparked within me, ignited by desperation. "We want to let you take him," I cried, channeling my energy. Focused on the part of my heart that refused to yield, I channeled every moment of doubt and pain into something tangible light. A brilliant pulse ignited from me, blending with Grandma's, filling the void. The shadows recoiled, hissing as the light expanded. "No!" the boy screamed, fury lacing his voice. "You will pay for this defiance." "Not today," I shouted defiantly, anchoring myself. Strands of light shot forward, piercing the darkness, illuminating the ghostly figures trapped within the ancestors. I saw them clearer now, wisps of their forms vibrating with hope. "You're not lost," I whispered, reaching toward them, feeling their sorrow echo within me. I was part of their legacy, and we were stronger together. As our combined light surged, I watched a few of their faces morph into recognition, and it filled me with purpose. "Remember who you are," we cried, our voices intermingling. The ancestors' whispers transformed into a resonating chant, building momentum around us. The boy staggered, retreating. "You think you can hold on to those memories forever? They are bound just like you." But we were not bound, not anymore. Each flicker of light swallowed a tendril of shadow, pushing back the darkness with monumental force. "You may be strong," I said, determination thick in my voice, "but together, we're unstoppable." The dying remnants of shadow began to ripple, fraying at the edges, disintegrating. But just as victory hovered on the horizon, rage ignited in the boy's gaze. "You think this is the end? Darkness is eternal." And just before the light could obliterate him entirely, he vanished, fading into the very shadows he commanded, leaving us in quiet stillness. An overwhelming sense of both relief and dread settled over us. The air felt electric, buzzing with uncertainty. "What just happened?" my brother gasped, still holding onto my arm, his face pale. I don't know," I admitted, fear creeping back into my mind. Could we have really defeated him, or was this simply a pause before the next wave of terror? But as I scoured the horizon for any sign of danger or reassurance, a figure emerged from the void, barely visible, an echo of the boy, a whisper of a threat. "What price will you pay?" the voice dripped with malice, lingering in the air long after the boy had vanished. That a chill swept through me. The truth behind his words echoed louder than ever. What did it really mean to challenge the darkness? What lay hidden in our hearts, waiting to be revealed? As shadows darted dangerously close, I realized with looming dread, some truths were yet to be uncovered, and the price for freedom was about to take a sinister turn. The shadows hung in the air, like ominous fog swirling around us. Grandma stood firm, her eyes piercing through the darkness. "We must push forward, together." Her voice rang with authority despite the fear she wore like a shroud. Taking a deep breath, I glanced at my brother, his grip still tight on my arm. The echoes of the boy's last words wormed their way into my mind. "The price you would pay." My heart raced with uncertainty. "Are we really ready for this?" I asked, the trembling in my voice betraying my fear. "Ready or not, we have to choose," Grandma urged, a flicker of determination in her gaze. With each step deeper into the void, uncertainty clawed at my insides. But together, we moved towards the flickering remnants of light, symbols of hope amidst the consuming dark. We were the last defenders against the shadows that had plagued our lineage for generations. Suddenly, the shadows writhed violently, as if they sensed our resolve. A figure began to materialize, indistinct at first but gradually taking shape, a silhouette of the boy, oozing malice. "You think you can escape me?" His voice echoed through the abyss, dripping with menace. "You're bound to your blood. You'll never be free. We are more than just our blood," I shouted back, raising the metallic object high above my head. A continuous pulse of energy emanated from it, intertwining with the very light that Grandma summoned. "Together, we can rewrite our story." The boy's eyes narrowed, contempt mingling with fury. "Every truth you uncover has its cost. Are you prepared to pay?" Before I could respond, the shadows lunged forward, attempting to ensnare us. Grandma shouted for us to hold on, and as a wave of dread crashed over us, I felt panic rise. Would we be able to withstand the darkness? Remember who you are. Grandma called out, her voice breaking through the chaos. The light is within. Let it guide you. I closed my eyes momentarily, feeling the weight of generations pressing down heavily on me. Our ancestors had fought, suffered, and sacrificed. Their hopes and dreams coursed through our veins. I wouldn't let their legacy end like this. With renewed determination, I gripped my brother's hand tightly. We need to push through, remember what we're fighting for. The shadows hesitated, momentarily revealing the lost faces of our ancestors, caught between despair and hope. I looked at them, summoning every ounce of strength. We're not afraid anymore. Stand with us, we're not backing down. A deep roar echoed through the shadows, and the boy's distorted figure shifted, as if weakened by our resolve. Foolish children. He sneered. You cannot banish me. I will always be there, lurking in the corners of your despair. Not if we stand together. I shouted, the metallic object glowing brighter, infusing each of us with courage. And in that moment, our combined strength shattered the shadows around us, erupting into a cascade of light. The boy's laughter turned to panicked screams, the darkness clawing at him as he writhed beneath the illumination. Embrace the truth. Grandma's voice rang clear, magnifying the light surrounding us. Now is our chance. The shadows recoiled, revealing the path ahead, glittering with the promise of freedom. One final spark surged from the metallic object, illuminating the darkness like a bolt of lightning. There was no turning back now. Together. We cried as we surged forward, shattering the remnants of the darkness that had once encapsulated us. The boy's form melted away like fog in sunlight. And then, silence, the void transformed into a vibrant landscape of warm light, blooming like the dawn after a long, cold night. My brother and I, still holding hands, turned towards Grandma, our faces bright with disbelief. We did it. He gasped, breathless with relief. Yes, we did, she whispered, tears in her eyes, tears of joy, relief, and yet, I sensed some weight lingered within her. But our journey doesn't end here. What do you mean? I asked, searching her face, hoping for clarity. She sighed, her expression somber. The shadows might be gone for now, but the truths we uncovered are only the beginning. Our legacy is a tapestry woven with both light and darkness. And we need to ensure that the shadows never return. We can do this, I said firmly, my heart swelling with conviction. Together, we'll reshape our family's story. And as the sun broke through, the world around us bursting into color, I felt a profound connection to my ancestors, a realization dawning. They were not lost, they were with us, coursing through our courage, urging us to find our way. That day was more than just Grandma's birthday or the unveiling of a hidden treasure. It became a chapter in our lives, a beginning filled with light, love, and a promise to navigate our legacy, armed with the strength of our shared history. As we walked forward, hand in hand, I knew we would face whatever lay ahead. Shadows may still linger, but they would never conquer us again. And with one last look back at the lingering light, I felt fortified by our journey. There was no going back. Now was the time to take charge of our destiny, but just before we stepped fully into the light, I could hear faint whispers trailing behind, remnants of the boy's presence, warning us, but now they felt trivial. Their threat washed away by the light we had embraced. Later, in the quiet of the evening, as Grandma shared stories from our family, a mix of laughter and tales of resilience, I realized the importance of every choice, every revelation, and every connection we forged together. We were intertwined, a lineage defined by both struggle and triumph. And in that truth, we found our freedom. So here we stood, no longer just children of shadows, but bearers of light, ready to shape our own legacy. And as stars flickered above, I raised my gaze to the endless sky, and pledged whatever came next, we would face it as one. My fellow seekers. If you loved this journey, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help our community grow. Flood the comments section with your thoughts, reactions, and theories about what happens next. Your voice matters. And share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us keep building this legacy together.